Hello and welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. We have two Kentucky straight bourbon whiskeys with no age statement. This is Old Charter. Introduced in 1874. That's not some made-up thing. I looked up the trademark data, and it was first used in commerce in 1874. Oh, it's had different owners, but the current owner is Buffalo Trace, part of Sazerac. It's produced at Buffalo Trace Distillery. And this is the old number 8 recipe. Now, years ago, they used to sell Old Charter aged 8 years. And if I find a bottle of Old Charter aged 8 years, I'll buy it. I doubt I'll find that. But distilled, aged, and bottled by Old Charter Distillery Company. Yeah, not a real company, but the Sazerac Company, Buffalo Trace. Clear bottle. It's got this interesting bottle design, not the standard Buffalo Trace bottle, Sazerac bottle. It's got its own unique bottle design. And I bought this at Walmart when they were closing out this standard bottle size. They wanted to go only to the handles. That's fine with me. I wasn't buying a handle. But they had this marked down to $8. So I bought this for $8 at Walmart. True story. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, $8. Here's the competitor, Daviess, however you pronounce it, Daviess County. It's probably Daviess County. This is the 96 proof. This is Daviess County Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Now you can get on their website. They got all different kind of application bourbons, like French oak application, port wine, Chardonnay wine, barrel and stuff like that. I don't know if that's the exact wine, but you understand what I mean. No, I mean, but the standard blue label is their basic item. It's not very basic. It's 96 proof. It's aged at least 4 years. The Old Charter is aged at least 4 years. It's sour mash bourbon. The Old Charter doesn't make a claim to be sour mash. It's a double mash bill. On one side, you've got high rye straight bourbon whiskey. On the other side, you've got wheated bourbon. They blend the two bourbons together after aging them at least 4 years. And I think they age them a little longer together. And then they've got this product. It runs about $38 a bottle. But I paid $14.99 at Matherns. Can you believe it? $14.99. $14.99. We'll check Total Wine and see what the current price is. These things can sometimes change day to day. Old Charter bourbon. $16.99. You'll save money getting the handle for $29.99. It'll be cheaper per ounce, but $16.99 because most people buy the regular size bottles. I can understand that. And Daviess County bourbon. Toasted barrel finish, $47.99. French oak finish. I knew there was a French oak, $42, $49. It's the only two they've got. Let's see if anybody else, some major stores got it listed. Oh, Total Wine's out of stock. They got it $43.99. 43. I thought it was $38.99. Ooh. Virginia ABC's got it $44.99. Oh man. Ohio Liquor's got it for $39.99. Try to find one more website. Legacy Wine and Spirits has it for 36. See, they've got it $36.99. The Liquor Barn has it. Oh, that's a Cabernet Sauvignon finish. Never mind. Yankee Spirits, $38.99. $36.99. See, I told you could get it, but we're going to say around $38 because I'm seeing all kind of ranges here. High, a little too high. $49.99. Don's Liquors and Wine, $49.99. New Hampshire Liquor and Wine Outlet, that's the state-owned monopoly liquor store. They've got it for $39.99. See? Yeah. You're going to pay on that. You're going to pay for this one here. Huh. Golly. Well, let's pour it and get to work. Wooden cap and real cork. It's not rubber. It's not particle pieces of cork. It's a real hunk of cork, as you can see. Make sure I got my labels right. I've made that mistake a number of times. Too many. Not a lot, but enough. Once is enough. Once is too many mistakes. It's inexcusable, but it comes from being absent-minded, I guess. I've got pills for my memory, but I can't ever remember to take them. Okay. Real twist cap. Nothing says quality bourbon like a plastic twist cap, and we all know that. We all know that. Little short on the pour. And that is where it's stopping. Well, it's not quite even, but it's close enough. I don't think that little tenth of an ounce is going to make a difference. Remarkably, they have the same color, amber and clear. Sometimes these Sazerac whiskeys will get very cloudy when you get to the bottom of the bottle. I'm starting to see sediment in there, and it's not major, but it's in there. When I get down here, it's going to really be cloudy. I don't know why. I don't know something to do with their filtering. It starts to come apart, or it starts to expose whatever is in it. No coloring added, no flavoring added there. Kentucky straight bourbon. Wouldn't matter the state. If it's straight bourbon, it cannot have coloring added, cannot have flavoring added. It's just a simple rule. And that's why a lot of people get bourbon, because it's one of the most strictly controlled types of liquor in the world. It has to be at least 51% corn. It's got to be aged in new, never before used charred oak barrels. If it's straight bourbon, it's got to be aged at least 2 years. And bourbon, regular or straight, cannot have coloring or flavoring added. Can't be bourbon anymore. It would still be, how do I say this? You can add flavor into bourbon, but then it's no longer bourbon. It's a new product called bourbon with natural flavors. What are those flavors? I don't know. So no, you can't have bourbon with flavoring, but you can have a new product You can make a product called bourbon with natural flavors. Sounds crazy, right? But it's the truth. But you'd have to have that on the label. That's got to be on the label. You can't sell bourbon and it just says bourbon, and they come find out later you added coloring or flavoring. Oh no, you in trouble now. You're in trouble now. But no company's looking to get in trouble now or later, so they're going to put that disclosure on there. I've got some in the other room that's got that add-on. They're interesting products. Yeah. Smell like corn. Sweet corn, maybe candy corn. Yeah, same thing here, but maybe some oak, charred oak. On appearance, they're identical. On aroma, they're not much different. So far, no, I'm not seeing a $13 price quality difference. So as we stand right now, I would not pay $17 extra for the Daviess County because I don't think you get $17 extra quality. But keep in mind, I'm more of an 80 proof guy. That's more favorable to me. Above 90, it's a turn off to me. So there's that bias you got to worry about. But I try to factor that out by a blind taste test. It's still not really possible because then you're going to taste that higher proof. I mean, I would. You're going to not taste it. Maybe that's not the right word. You're going to feel it. And if you drink too much, you're going to feel it and you're going to be sorry. And I don't plan to be sorry, so I'm not going to drink too much. Taste time. Even taste fruity to some extent. Fruit. Yeah. I don't know what fruits. Something. Honey notes. Corn. Obviously. Rye. People say Sazerac has a high rye mash bill. People say that. It's probably true. They can't prove it though. They just say, oh, this is their mash bill number one. Oh, this is used in mash bill number two. And I ask them, where do you get that information? Usually I get no response. Or I'll get a response like, a guy has a blog, man. And they give me the link or they tell me the name of the blog, the web blog. So I'll look it up. And he'll say, oh, yeah, this uses a mash bill number or whatever. Or this is the mash bill. And I'm like saying, well, how does he know that? He's got no sources. He provides no source material. Like you look on the Sazerac website, oh, they'll show old charter, no problem, but they won't tell you what it's made with. So these are unsubstantiated statements. They have no real meaning. To me, they don't. The stuff I'm telling you about these products, I can back it up. I know they're Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It says it on the label. I know they're proof. It says it on the label. I know they have no age statement. It isn't on the label, which means they're aged at least 4 years. I know one is sour mash. It says it right there. Sour mash. That one doesn't say sour mash. I'm assuming it isn't. I mean, it could be, I guess. Seemed to me they would list it. I know where they're from. Kentucky. I know the Sazerac and Buffalo Trace own Old Charter. It's right there on the bottom. So some things, if I don't know, I'm going to either say nothing about it or I'll say something like, well, I don't really know. I'm just theorizing. We want to be careful about what we say here, I think, or any channel. Some people are not. Okay, so that has a nice flavor. I think it must be Old Charter, but let's try this side. Seems to have a higher proof. Now notice I said seems to have a higher proof. This is tricky. You think, oh, charter, man, only people drink Old Charter is 70-year-old old drunks that hang out at the bar all day, got no taste in whiskey, and my grandpa used to drink that stuff. Of course, he was no old drunk, but he That's an old man's bourbon, and no cool people drink that. Blah blah blah. It's no good, etc. Okay, all right, fine. But I don't think Walmart would keep it in stock if nobody bought it. I guarantee you they wouldn't keep it in stock if nobody bought it. They don't play around. If anything starts slipping over there, it's gone. Boom. Rolling Rock starts slipping. Boom, out the store. Never saw Rolling Rock again at Walmart over here. But they got Old Charter on the shelf. Somebody's buying it. Now, I'm not saying it's whiskey aficionados. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's hobbyists. People like, I'm a bourbon guy. I always tracking down the most unique, I'm always tracking down unique and mystifying bourbons, the scarcest of the scarce. Right. You're not going to go tracking down Old Charter, but you might be tracking down Old Charter Chincopeak Oak version. You might be tracking down Old Charter French Oak version. You might be tracking down Old Charter Mongolian Oak version, and these other ones that they got. That is the one. Those are the ones that people probably tracking down, not just the regular old run-of-the-mill everyday Old Charter recipe number 8. Well, yes, of course, I would like to try all those ones that I named. There's more than that, but I never saw them. Just like Tom Moore, man, I can go right over there to. I could have bought it for $12.99 a handle. That was a big mistake, but I can't buy everything. I could go right there to Dorgnac's, and they got Old Tom. No, not Old Tom. Tom Moore. Tom Moore Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey for $14.99 for a handle. Can you believe it? It's the truth. Kentucky Straight Bourbon, no flavor coloring added. But I just never bought it. I got too much bourbon now. But they have those Thomas Moore specialty bourbons, and they're not no $12.99 or $14.99, maybe $59.99 for a regular bottle. Butch Willie says that's a childish way of thinking, in my opinion. Alcohol doesn't have an age limit. What do you mean? Well, as long as you're 21, of course. Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying some people have these like beliefs. It's a stereotype, but it's probably true. You say that's a stereotype. Only old people drink Old Charter. But it's, yeah, where does that come from? It comes from empirical evidence. You look around, you study the world. Is it possible to go meet every person on earth who drinks Old Charter and check their age? No. You could do it in a theoretical sense. That would be an algorithm. But it would be impossible to do it, really. Yeah, I understand. So then you have to use a heuristic, which is a shortcut. And one of the most common heuristics people use is a stereotype, which means you're taking an average. You're not saying every person who drinks Old Charter is such and such. You're saying the average person who drinks Old Charter is probably such and such. And those are almost always accurate. I did a video about that, and it's called Understanding Stereotypes. It's still posted, Understanding Stereotypes. Most people do not understand stereotypes, even though they'll use the word 3 or 4 times per day. I'll hear them say that. You don't know that. That's a stereotype. Everybody, and then they'll back up the fact that they don't know what they're talking about by saying, everybody's not like that, meaning everybody in that group, that subgroup is not like that. Well, that's okay. So now you're telling me you don't understand what a stereotype is, because a stereotype does not make that announcement that everybody in the group does that. It's saying the average person in the group does whatever, or it could be body size, height, average weight, and these type of things. But people are not as educated as they may believe about themselves. Okay. Well, all stereotypes are true, as you've noted. That's right. and I'm not the one that came up with that statement, all stereotypes are true. I think that was I think it was Ludwig von Mises who said that, Austrian economist, but he meant for the average person in the group. He said that. I think he was saying that to somebody else in a discussion group. He said all stereotypes are true, which means true for the average. It is an average. It is an average. An exception to the rule does not uh, um, invalidate the rule, you see. But getting beyond that, these are both very nice. Don't sell you the whole point of that rant, if you want to call it a rant. It was just like an aside, really. I wasn't ranting like this is what it is. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore. I wasn't like that. I was just saying, as an aside, this was an explanatory aside. They're both very nice, but I think this is the Daviess County, because I don't taste it, but it feels like it's got a higher proof. Now, but I'm not going to sit here and think it's way better. It doesn't taste way better. Maybe it doesn't taste better at all. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm in the middle. I'm okay, and you're okay. You do you, and I'll do me. We'll just have to agree to disagree, with these catchphrases. Okay. We can still be friends, meaning never contact me, call me, or speak to me again. I know how to interpret those type. I really am, like a lot of you. I know how to interpret those disingenuous comments, which I cannot stand. Honesty is the best policy. What is what Benjamin Franklin said, and I agree with that. All right, and I'm unanimous in that. All right, so I think this is the DC, the Daviess County, as opposed to the OC, the old charter. Hope I'm right. Oh, I feel played. This is the second failure in the series. That's the old charter. What am I doing? What's happening here? Well, I'll tell you what's happening. You say you're having a breakdown. It's too much, too many taste challenges, and you're breaking down, and it's all over, all over, all over. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Mother, 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 mother. No, it's nothing like that. No, sorry. It's just I think the reality is that Daviess County is not that fabulous. Others, including someone who I talked with on the phone this morning, would not agree. That person who I talked to on the phone this morning would say, "Yeah, you don't know bourbon. You're crazy. That stuff is awesome. You're stupid." He probably used those undiplomatic terms. You're stupid. I'd say I'm not stupid or wrong. And I would tell him, I'm not saying you're stupid or wrong. I just think I have more developed taste ability. I'm going to say that in self defense. But I like it. I'm glad I only paid $14.99. But the proof's in the pudding. Now we did a duo review of this, and I did a solo review, and we were saying, oh, it's so great. I can't get over it. I'm amazed. But what did I say? It all comes down to this, the blind taste test. Then you're going to find out how really wonderful it is. If it cannot make it in the blind taste test, maybe it's not as great as you had first believed. And that's why I do the blind taste test exercise, and I do a tournament, round robin tournament, everything versus everything else. Because I really want to see, is it that fabulous? And it's not panning out. It's already gotten 2 fails. And I know a counterpoint from the audience could be, but that's just you. It only applies to you. How do you know other people are going to find the same results? Obviously, I don't know that, nor would I ever know that unless the people did the exercise, meaning all the other people did the blind taste test. Do I expect that to happen? No, I do not. So it's certainly an imperfect exercise, but I don't know any other way. I'm doing the best I can. If you think I'm not, you're wrong. I am doing the best I can, and I try hard to not play favorites or screw up. I'm trying to do it correctly. So at least a person could say, well, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go buy a bottle of Bourbon County. Old Charter. What am I saying? Old Charter. And I'm going to buy a bottle of Daviess County, and I'm going to do my own blind taste test. Hey, you know what? I would watch that. If you had a video channel and you posted, I'd watch. But it's got to be blind, not just you staring at it. I'll watch that too, but that won't prove anything. You just look at, oh, there's a bottle, watch me for it, and there's a bottle, watch me for it, and I'm going to look at both, and I'm going to tell you about them. Yeah, No. Got to do it blind, where you don't know which is which. Then you really might prove something, at least for yourself. Obviously, you couldn't prove it for anyone else because no one else can taste. You understand, no one else has your tasting, and you don't have anybody else's tasting, which is why people have taste preferences. Some people love celery. I like celery. I don't love it, but I like it. My daughter hates celery. She just is repulsed by celery. I don't understand that. It seems wonderful to me. But see, so that would be a very important factor. And you can't ever solve that because everybody in the world is not going to be uniform in their thinking or their flavor or preferences or their lifestyle preferences, no matter what our potential socialist masters want to guide us into. You know how they are. They want everybody to be compartmentalized, unified, controlled, think the same way, do the same things, have the same values, be a cog in a machine. And they say that's going to make the world better. No. The people that think that way, when they watch Star Wars, they think the Emperor is the hero. All right? Okay? That's the kind of thinking they have. The Emperor is the hero. They're rooting against Luke Skywalker and against Princess Leia. They want them killed and shut up because they're disrupting the orderly development of the new galactical order. Okay, Bourbon County. Thank you, Mr. R. Butch Willie says, right, why do you think they're trying to teach these kids about all this rainbow stuff? Yeah, well, it's not about Noah's Ark, is it? You see, you can't understand what's happening on the game board if you don't understand the game. But I do understand the game. I know who's running the board, and I know what the rules of the game are, and I know what their goal is in the game. So it's a lot easier to observe current events and historical events if you know how the game is being played and who is running the game. And I am happy to tell people about the game, and I do make videos about the game because it is a controlled game. And it's sort of like going to a casino where you say, I'm going to beat the house. You're not going to beat the house. It's a rigged game. You cannot beat the house. They'll just tell you to leave. They'll just tell you to leave. The game I'm talking about, they will excuse you in their own special way. You know what I mean? You might be the president and go on a trip to Dallas, but anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you for watching. I have to give the victory to Old Charter, and I would have put $10 against that. I would have thought, no chance. No chance. But I was well fooled. Well fooled. All right, y'all take care now, and see y'all soon, like tomorrow night for lemonade beers. tomorrow at 6:20 Central Time.